Hello everyone, I'm Hafiz.
And I'm Parkson.
We are the fathers behind the podcast We Are Dads Too. We discuss everything from being an effective father to a good co-parent to our spouse.
We also have guests and experts on our show to talk about the different aspects of fatherhood. Come and join us to discover more about our experiences as fathers because
We Are Dads Too. Click on the link below to follow us on Spotify.
Hi, my name is Parkson, and this is a We Are Dads Too podcast, a podcast for fathers by fathers. Each week, we will have conversations about different aspects of fathering, and we may also be speaking with experts to get their opinions. Today is Father's Day, and my co-host Hafiz and I will be sharing something with you that can make this Father's Day really meaningful. Hi, Hafiz, how are you doing today?
Hi, Parkson. I'm good. What about you?
Wonderful. Yes. It's 1 week before Father's Day, and this is our very first Facebook Live podcast. And what better time to do it than on this occasion, right?
Yes. I think this is only our first time. This is not only our first time on live, but also people asking me why you do a Father's Day special 1 week before the actual Father's Day. Did you got the date correct?
Well, there is a reason for it. I mean, we do everything for a reason, I hope. Well, I think the reason is because we have something for them to do, and we need time for them to know what to do, and then have time to also do it so that they will be ready for it on Father's Day itself. Well, let me ask you, Hafiz, how does your family celebrate Father's Day?
The normal way. Usually,
Which is?
Usually it's makan. We have a gathering, but it's still very special to me because I have children of many different ages, from the 20s to the teens. So it's just a good time for us to come together and focus, on the family.
Okay, wow, okay. Sounds fun. So besides birthdays and I'm sure your wedding anniversary, so Mother's Day, Father's Day are also two of the major celebrations, would you say?
Yes. Because I have 4 kids, and we usually have when we come to birthdays, we prepare something special for everyone. It need not be going out and eat, but we have something at home, even if we can't do it outside. But the special thing of my family is we usually prepare a surprise, so it's a challenge actually always to keep the surprise from the person, who we are intending to give. So it's quite fun.
Wonderful. Well, for me, Father's Day, Mother's Day is not a major thing. We do celebrate birthdays, but not Father's Day or Mother's Day. Of course, the other celebrations are New Year's and, Christmas and times like this. So I don't really have stories to tell, unfortunately, for Father's Day and Mother's Day. But today, what we want to do is this, typically, like you say, families would celebrate Father's Day by going out for a meal, and maybe they would buy, the kids would buy the father a gift. I think those are definitely gestures that are appreciated, And but I think maybe to add to that, one of the things that children can do is to think about these questions. For example, one of the questions that they can ask themselves and to answer is, what is one thing that you would like to thank your father for? Right? So, Hafiz, what would you say to that? What is one thing that you would like to thank your father for?
Wow, this is a very deep question. One thing, but there are many things actually I want to thank him, although he's no longer around. But I can share that one of the things I would like to thank him for is resilience, is to teach me resilience. And why I say that, because despite I think many of my generation, we have parents who I think grew up quite in a difficult situation. I mean, the war years, and then things are not as convenient and as affluent as it is today. In terms of education opportunities, also he didn't manage to go through up to above upper secondary. However, he showed to me that regardless of all those things, he was able to provide for the family, able to give good example, right, and teach us values. And that I think most of us today, myself, my siblings, value him for keeping the family together, regardless of the challenges that we face materially. I mean, maybe the lack of, I can say sometimes, parenting skills that we expect parents to have today. My father, have his way of, doing things, very highly disciplined. But we come out to be, okay, at the end of the day. In fact, very good. Most of my cousins say that me and my siblings, in terms of discipline, in terms of having that kind of properliness, it comes from our dad.
Okay. Was your dad something like a RSM or something?
Wow, I think the RSM would be under him.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. I don't envy your position. Well, I have many things to thank my father for also, and but the thing that really comes to my mind is the times that he brought me to watch the Malaysia Cup football, especially each time the Singapore team was playing at the National Stadium. I think almost without fail, we would be there watching and cheering. And I still remember, drinks, kuih chi koropok. The guys who are walking around and selling drinks and kuih chi and koropok, and then of course, the chant referee kayu whenever the fans disagree with the decision that the referee makes, then they will start shouting that. So those are the fond memories. And also the crowds. I tell you, the crowds are when I was at that age, it can be quite intimidating. People are rushing out through, the out of the stadium together, and my dad would almost had to kind of shield me from the crowd as we make our way out of the stadium. So those were fun days, and I think it was probably due to that I became a football fan, a soccer fan, until today. And in my family right now, I'm the only soccer fan. So I watch football all by myself. Yep. So that's one thing that I want to thank him for, that he took the time, he bought the tickets. I don't really know how much the ticket cost at that time. Really, I don't know whether it was a lot or quite reasonable, but it was, I think it's almost every match that we actually went to see. And yeah, so it was fond memories. I have fond memories of the National Stadium also, so it was a very, very nice place at that time.
Just on that note, you're talking about, the tickets at that time was quite expensive. I mean, even then, because it was so popular, the stadium is really full. But what my parent did, or what my father did, was to organize. In fact, we went to KL, on a bus. He was the organizer. So what happened was that they reserved me a seat, because there were three of us, my parents and myself, and just to and because of that, it was affordable. I mean, the things that my parents or my father did, despite, as I said, financially wasn't really great. What they did was to have side, business. I mean, all the time. I remember my father was always selling something, selling things, or even have a small shop, and trying to make ends meet. But the other thing I want to probably share and mention to all of us is that, I mean, I don't have a father now. My father passed away. But I think most of us still have fathers. But when they are still around, we seldom, show our appreciation to them. I mean, for example, this question, right? What is one thing you like to thank our fathers for? I mean, we can say it now. We can say it behind him. Can we say it in front of him?
Very good point.
And sometimes we think that, fathers, they are something. Some fathers or our father may not be a person that would like to listen to all this, but you can never know. All right, fathers being fathers, sometimes they put up a front, all right, to show that they are strong. All right, they can protect us, but at the same time, everyone has a heart. and everyone wants to be appreciated, even
Oh,
if
definitely.
it's a bit awkward, for you. You may want to try. Okay, you may want to try, and to say it in a way that he can accept it. So
Yep.
you can always try once, twice. It doesn't work. It will never be a failure, or be something wrong that you do. Don't afraid to, do it wrongly. Yeah, it's something that I thought, it's good.
That's a very, very excellent point. And yes, so here's the question again, and please do think about it. And like what Hafiz said, go and tell it to your dad. All right, and share it with him that this is the thing that I remembered, and I remember it fondly, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Now, if you are watching this live broadcast right now, you'd like to share one thing that you'd like to thank your dad for, please put it in the comment section. Now, the next question we want to talk about is this. What is one thing that you would like to pass on to your children that you received from your father? What is it, Hafiz?
Wow. What you like to pass on to my children? Okay. It's a long question, so I need some time to understand. It's a value, right? It's not something. Actually, I have things I want to pass on, because pass over to my kids. In fact, I've done it. I have done it. But one of the things that he passed to me, and I think most of us today don't do this. He got this watch. All right, it's a very expensive watch. He got it from his company, because what they did, when they get 30, 40 years long service award, and he worked for a company for 47 years, he got an Omega watch. All right, and he had got several. So when he got the new one, he passed the older one to me. And I used it. At one time when I was even a student, but he saw that I don't know really how to take care of an Omega watch. I use it for playing soccer and so on. It was a gentleman's watch, it was a formal watch. So he took away from me, but before he passed away, all right, he passed it to me. All right, he passed it to me, and then it's something that it's still working. I sent it for repair a bit, because the glass is a bit worn out, and it looks brand new. And it's not so much the thing, it's the value. He's someone that value things in terms of he doesn't spend a lot on things unnecessarily, but he will buy something of quality, when he appreciate things of quality. And the fact that he handed over to me, all right, my brother also got the other one, so both of us, he have two sons, got one each. And I intend to pass on that to my sons, and actually I've done it also. I've done this the same thing. I passed to one of my son my watch that I valued, the one that I have, and he wants it, so I give to him. But for this one, maybe one day, I will pass to him.
Okay, wow. So that's like a family heirloom, huh? Passing down from one generation to another.
Many.
Well, at least that thing can last for so long. So it obviously is something worthwhile and something treasured, right? Okay. Well, for me, I unfortunately did not, or I can't think of something that I really received from my dad, because my dad and we didn't have a relationship for a long, long time. So maybe I would answer the question in this way instead. I would ask, the question for me maybe would be, what do I wish that I had received from my dad? So I did think about this quite some time ago, and one of the things that I wish I had received from him or learned from him was how to really make relationships, build relationships with people. He was working in a banker. And back in the days, banks relationship was very important, right? You need to really take care of your clients. You really need to get to know them and meet their needs. Sad to say, today's banking can be quite impersonal. So back in the days, many of his customers, his clients, every year would come and give him hampers, gifts and things like that, which when I was younger, I didn't understand it. To me, it was like, you're giving us so many things, and so all those gifts, especially liquor, all right, they're bottles and bottles of liquor, and they're just piling up at home. So I was actually a little annoyed. Why all these things piling up at home. They're taking up space at home. All right. But now that I'm older and I think about it, I said, well, those gifts are not, those are expensive gifts, and they're not given flippantly. And so for someone to give my father these gifts, obviously they treasure something. They really respect him, and it's maybe just for gratitude of having someone really taking care of them on the business front, the financial front. So unfortunately, I didn't inherit that, or I did not get a chance to learn that from him. And so that's, in a sense, one of my regrets, and I really wish if I had that relationship with him, I think I would be able to see and observe and learn from him about these little, skills, subtle skills. And I guess, it would really have come in very handy. So throughout my life, making relationship has been often a challenge. I had to learn it the hard way. So if I, had that relationship with him and learned from him, I think things would have been much easier. Yep. So that's my story.
Yeah. I think both of us come from a generation where our parents or our father was probably the first generation or the second generation in Singapore, in this country. My father was the second generation. His father came from Java, from Indonesia, alone, right? So just imagine, you are an immigrant, you come here, you start a family, your children. You have many children. They had 5. And my father was the youngest, and they usually have to fend for themselves, right? And the kind of environment that they grew up is very different from how we grew up. And I think we have to understand that the kind of environment that our children grew up is very different from us. And the things that you want to give to them, and I'm not thinking about things anymore, I'm thinking about values, I'm thinking about memories or things that we value so much. We have to look at their perspective as well. And I think now we have this bandwidth, to think a bit wider. So for my children, for example, what are the things that I want to pass to them? I think I need to really think, think enough and properly, such that it becomes something that I don't regret, because there are many things that we give, both positive and negative, all right? But
Yep.
there are things that I think we can enforce, in the daily, our daily dealings with them. For example, if we think that, as I said just now, the value of resilience, right? And I think today is not just about, in the past was physical resilience, material resilience, today I think it's about a lot of mental and emotional resilience. Yep. Yeah, I think that's the part that I think I want to also give to my children. That's what I got from my father, that I thought whatever little that I can learn from him and I can pass on, the good example, I will want to pass on to my kids. Yeah.
Wow. All right. One more question. What is one thing that you want your father to know? So imagine if he's right now, just sitting across from you, in front of you, and you have this opportunity to say anything to him. What would that one thing be?
Okay, me again.
Yes.
Anybody else out there? I thought this is live. Anyone, please, out there, can you help me answer this question? Put your comments in the Facebook comments, and share. I think you can also answer this question. Yeah, one thing that I want my father to know. Yeah, all right. You go first this time, Paksan.
Well, I guess the one and only thing I want him to know is that I do love him. For a long time I was angry with him. I just didn't want to talk to him. But now I see things differently. I began to understand, especially when I had that very long talk with him, and to hear just his story, his childhood, his school days and things like that, about how his father was like in terms of raising him, his family condition. I was able to understand where he was coming from and why he did the things he did and said the things he said to me, and having been also a father and still am a father, I think I begin to also understand that every father tries to do his best. Every father tries, very hard to provide and to, raise their sons and daughters in the best way possible that they can, that they know how. So I don't think he has ever done anything deliberately to, to make me sad or to hurt me or to harm me in any way. In fact, after I finished my poly education, he was hoping and really trying to encourage me to go further, but I was just tired, just tired of studying. I love to study, I don't mind taking exams, but yeah, it's the exams part that I maybe don't enjoy a lot. So I didn't go further, but I think that also disappointed him a little bit. But yeah, so if there's one thing I would say to him is that, yeah, I love you.
Okay, that's nice. So for me, I think my story is such that my father, he was very adamant for me to really, really do well in my studies, such that he always encouraged me to, be the best, right? But sometimes it's a bit pressurizing, okay? And at one point in time, I rebelled a bit. He wanted me to go to a good school, and I think at that age, 12 years old, I see. I mean, I did not because of I don't want, but I just want to be different, and to be with friends. Then I realized that after so many years, right, and having my own children, okay, I realized that he did a lot of good in so-called asserting, his way, and I appreciate it. Okay, and there are many other examples, right? That what he did, we thought at that time was a bit, is that what you want? Is that what you want? That's not what I want. Okay? Then after many years, I realized that as a father, no father wants a child something bad for a child. And if it may seem quite, difficult for a child to understand at one point in time, is to trust. All right, it's to trust the father. And I would to tell him now, if he's he listens, or he's there, he's here, that whatever as a child I rebel against you, all right, I say I'm sorry, you did the right thing, all right, and I hope that you really forgive me. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, yeah. So once again, the 3 questions, in case you're watching, and do try to answer them and share it with your father if there's an opportunity to do so. The first question is, what is one thing that you would like to thank your father for? All right. So it could be something that he did, something that he taught you, something that he, really surprised you with. The other question is, what is one thing that you would like to pass on to your children that you received from your father? It could be a certain mindset, a certain skill, a certain habit, a certain, instruction or wisdom. And finally, what is one thing that you want your father to know? And this can be anything, all right? Anything that is on your mind, on your heart, that you have maybe always wanted to say to him, but never had a chance or never had the boldness to do so. So if you are bold enough to share it with us, do put it into the comment section so that we can also hear from you. All right. Now, with the little time remaining, I just want to say to all our audience is that we're going to be posting more questions on our Instagram and Facebook page, questions that you can ask your father. All right. And all these questions are designed so that you will learn more about your father. Okay. For example, what career did he choose and why did he choose the career that he did? All right. So I guess every child knows what their father, what their father's occupation was or is, but maybe we didn't find out why did he choose it. Why did he choose that occupation? Like my father went into banking. That was his first and only occupation. I mean, he was in the banking industry from day one until his retirement. Okay. And so I heard from him, this is what I learned from him, is that it was through a connection his father had with a friend, that got him into that bank. And he started right from the bottom as a clerk in the bank, a branch of the bank. And he worked his way up over the years to become a branch manager, even spent a short period of time at HQ. All right. So that's actually a major accomplishment for someone with just an O-level qualification. You see. So that was what I've learned from him. So I think this kind of information really would be eye-opening to many people, and it really gives you insights into your father's life in the past.
Yeah, those questions I tried to give my daughter, one of them, to ask. It was not easy. Some of the questions, right? I share one. Number 8. What mistake taught you most about life? When we, I hear the term mistake. It looks so negative. Then the first reaction is that how can I tell my kid about my mistake? Then I realized that that shouldn't be your mindset. That shouldn't be my mindset, right? I think to us it's a mistake. To her or to anyone, it may not be. So it's how we perceive things. So the first thing I thought mistake that I did, right, is no the immediate thing was the same example just now. I don't listen to my father. All right, I didn't listen to my father on certain things. I realized that actually not only once, quite a number of times. All right, quite stubborn, right, when you were young. I realized that it taught me one thing, right, to sometimes trust someone that you love. All right, trusting someone that you love is very, very important. If you love the person, usually the person love you back, right? And no one that love you would want something which is negative, something bad, right? Especially if it's an elder person, your parents. There must be some element of trust, and I think this works not only for in a family, but I think with friends and with the community and other people that we trust. Trust is very important. So I thought that was one of things the mistake that I did.
Yep. No, those questions are definitely, some of them can be a little tough, but what I like about those questions is really what you call probing questions, and it really gets into the core of the person. That means, we know our father, many of us, we know our father superficially by just the facts, some very few facts. And a lot of it is basically our assessment of our fathers in terms of how good they are as a father. But knowing that if you really want to know someone as a person, you really need to go deep. You really need to, go into those parts of their lives that we seldom, go into and really even think about. Yeah, right. So that's why these questions are very powerful. If you try, to sit down with your father and just ask him these questions and try to get as much information from him as you can. I think this will really, and there's one psychologist, Samuel Osherson. He has done a lot of work in the area of father-son relationship. And one of the things he says, to sons, adult sons especially, is that it is very important for sons to know their fathers, to know how much they are alike as well as how much they are different from each other. All right, because who your father is basically who you are also. All right, and understanding him will help you understand yourself as well. Right. So I think that these questions will be very helpful. It can be quite daunting, but I think, from what I understand, as we grow older, we long to tell our stories to our children.
So you said, these are very powerful questions. And why they are powerful? Because all the questions are open-ended questions. We have the tendency to ask close-ended question. Are you happy? Yes, no. So the word what, when we start asking, I think I noticed that most of the question start with what, how, and so on. So we need to ask open-ended questions to our children, so that we don't get yes and no answer. And it's a skill, it's a habit also that we need to do that. And
That's right.
so the 5 W's, and 1 H, right? So the what, why, what I think which, no, not which, sorry. What the other
Who,
one?
what, where, when, why, and how.
Yeah, thank you, Paxton. So start with those words when you ask a question. And the other thing is, when you look at the questions, what if we flip the question for us to ask our children? So for example, there's one. What's one story that I don't know about you? I think this is something important for us to be able to talk to our children about. So if we can ask this question, the similar question, don't ask it the same way. You reflect some of the question, and not all are relevant to our children. But if you flip it and ask our children, so it's the same kind of things that will happen. We will be able to get to know our children better, their world, their life, their concerns, what they like, what their fears are. The most of the time, we always put our own frame of mind on the other, and we need to reframe. And this reframing is a powerful tool that we can use to know people. I mean, we can know ourselves by reframing too. We can reframing, look at things differently. For example, if it's an event, it's an accident, it looks negative. But if you flip it, you reframe it, there are a lot of lessons you can do and you can learn from that accident. So same thing, when we reframe our questions, or we ask a question in which we allows people to reframe their mind, we will be able to go deeper into that person in a way in which we will never be able to if you were just to ask the question that only we get the yes, no, which does not mean anything. Actually, person can just say he mean no, but he say yes only when they start talking more than just that. All right, it's difficult to after you talk sometime a bit, the body language start coming out for that person to tell differently. So I think there's something that we can also use those questions for.
Yep. Well, this is our episode for Father's Day, and we have shared with you a number of questions that you can use to, start conversations with your father to learn about him a bit more. This will invite him to open up his life to you. So try it before Father's Day, so that your Father's Day celebration will become even more meaningful this year. So before we say goodbye, let's wish every father.
Before that, aren't we going to read through the question, or we purposely don't because we want them to go to our Facebook page, right?
Yes, it will be posted on our Instagram and Facebook page.
Right. So please look out for it. There are 12 questions for you to refer to.
So before we say goodbye, let's wish every father happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, all dads.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Iman Catalyst Community, which is missioned to elevate hope by transforming lives through social education initiatives as well as personal development programs. We are the medium that come in between NGOs and their beneficiaries to enhance their sustainability and impact. If you'd like to know more, connect, and collaborate with us, you can reach us at Facebook and Instagram at Iman Catalyst. That's spelled EMAAN. And we would like to work and partner with you.
Thank you so much for tuning to this week's conversation. We hope that this episode helped you in your transformational journey as dads. If you like this podcast, make sure you review, follow, and share it with your friends. For more episodes and resources on fathering, check us out at We Are Dads Too on Facebook and Instagram.
We would also like to hear your comments and questions, so please feel free to share them on our FB and IG pages and also our Twitter, and be connected to other dads too. Until next time, let's take the next step to be the special dad we are meant to be. Take care and stay safe.